Welcome to Estate Planning Nightmares and How to Avoid Them. I'm your host, Jon Braddock. And, every week we dive into real life stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly of estate planning, and pretty much what you can do to make sure your loved ones never end up in the middle of a nightmare. I want to first highlight to our audience that October is, in fact, Estate Planning Awareness Month. So I'm going to have several guests this month who all have amazing experience in estate planning, and we'll all do our small part in trying to raise more awareness. All right, so today's guest holds a very special place in my heart because she was my very first live guest on this show back in May of 2023. She's smart, funny, and passionate about helping families protect what matters most. Jolene Blackbourn is a virtual estate planning attorney in California. She's the mom of two neurodiverse human children and two rescue dogs. She is also the creator of Special Needs Special Plans, which is a program that helps special needs families get their estate plan done for just $500. Wow, what a truly amazing gift for those families. Now, when she isn't saving Californians legally, she enjoys playing soccer, traveling, and spreading Halloween into a 12-month holiday. Jolene, welcome back.
Thank you. Yes, this is definitely my month.
Absolutely. It's so good to have you here again. Again, you were our inaugural guest. It's hard to believe it's been 2.5 years.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
I mean, you look 2.5 years younger.
I'll take it.
And I kind of go the other way, but
Not at
that's the way it
all.
works out.
You're
Awesome.
looking good.
Thank you. I remember that first episode like it was yesterday. I mean, you had some really incredible insights about how people unintentionally sabotage their own estate plan, particularly those who choose DIY, do it yourself. And that episode is still one of the most downloaded shows. So, really impacted an awful lot of people.
Wow.
Uh, and that was when I was recording audio only. And while we still provide audio to Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify, for the last 2 years now, we also have the video version on YouTube. So we keep trying to grow. Anyhow, we spoke a couple of weeks ago, and you told me that you have another story that might fit perfectly into this theme and estate planning awareness month. So let's just jump right in. Can you tell us about this 93-year-old man you had mentioned to me, and what went down?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a story that keeps me up at night. So yeah, I got a call from a 93-year-old man. This was a few years ago, and his daughter, who was, I think in her 50s, if I recall correctly, maybe 60s, but she was single. And their financial advisor had told them, I think you need an estate plan. Now, this 93-year-old, he didn't have any documents. He had two sons and the daughter. And so the one son was neurotypical, doing well on his own. The daughter, same thing, although she had been placed onto all his accounts and his deed, so they owned everything together. And then he had a special needs son that lived in a home. And so this kid lives off government aid. And again, all these kids, I say, are in their 50s and 60s. But what the dad told me was that he wanted the one son to not inherit anything because during COVID, he had received a lot of money and he had already received his inheritance. So that son was going to be taken out, and that's fine. Now, daughter, okay, she's going to inherit everything because she's going to take care of the special needs son. Um, there's a few problems with this. It sounds like a great plan. Daughter's very responsible. She's already on all the accounts. It's going to be smooth and easy, right? Okay. Well, yeah. there's just, it's so hard to even know where to start. But there's several problems with this. Um, the first being that she could get married at any time, and this person could be a manipulator. This person could convince her to take the money out of the bank account, or when dad dies, to never spend a cent on the special needs son. That's just the first problem.
You know, that there is what I would call a heartbreaking preventable mess, right?
Yeah.
So as we unpack this a little bit, so you indicated that the the daughter was added to all of his accounts and stuff, and then there's like, five problems, with that. And I think you just named a couple. What if she gets married and do some of
Yeah.
these? But let's break down these steps of you know what can go wrong and how it could have been fixed.
Yeah. So yeah, aside from getting married, because this does happen a lot. People get married. It usually goes the other way, right? My dad got married and to a 55-year-old. She's not he's 90 and she's taking all the money. But it can go the other way too. The 55-year-old can get married and again that husband can pull that money out or vice versa, whatever, husband, wife, whatever. But there's also what if something happens to her? What if she accidentally plows into a room full of people? And she is sued five different ways, and now she's on all of dad's accounts. And so now dad's going to be paying all of his money he saved his whole life for, all the money that's supposed to go to the special needs son, to these lawsuits. It's all subject to that. It's subject to, again, so going back, spousal abuse, spousal divorce, by the way, as well, because her name's on it. And then also any accidental lawsuits she's involved in. Okay, so that's another one that you just, again, you think, oh, this is not going to happen to me, but it could. This is why we get the documents to prevent things that we can't foresee. Now, another one is what if she doesn't outlive dad? So let's fast forward a couple years. Let's say he's now 95 and he now has dementia. So he can't create estate planning documents. And daughter has a heart attack. She has a stroke. She has an aneurysm. She dies in a car accident. Has an instant death. So there's no time for her to make an estate plan either. Now, again, because everything's in joint name, it's going to go to dad, but dad can't create estate planning documents. So it's going to go to his heirs, which are his two sons. Now, I don't care that the one son's going to get extra money. Who cares? But the other son is going to get kicked off again, all his government aid, all because they refuse to spend a few thousand to take care of him. That
Yeah,
drives me crazy.
yeah, I have a special needs son, and he, gets assistance and high functioning and has a job and only works kind of part time, and you know, so I handle his finances and things, but I know that he can never have more than $2,000 in assets, period. And so now you've got a person who's reliant on a group home and things where he needs to be, which is going to be gone. Now he's got some money, but probably doesn't know how to handle it and work with it. What a night! But a special needs trust would solve that, right?
Yeah, that's all they had to do is just, I mean, now maybe it was a little bit of overwhelm that I was explaining to them. They actually both needed this because daughter had her own house as well. She's unmarried. So if she doesn't create an estate plan, it's going to go to her heirs, which are her parents. And then, so it's either going to dad's name, which again then goes to the two sons, or if the dad is gone, it goes to the two brothers. And so again, all these different scenarios all lead to the brother that shouldn't inherit anything inheriting. And so I told her, you need a trust and your dad needs a trust. Now, if you guys don't care about all the commingling, well, we can make one trust. It doesn't have to be between like a husband and wife or anything like that. It can literally be between brother and sister, dad and daughter. It's fine. But like if that's how you want to do it, if you want to save a little money by not creating your own trust, fine. But please save your brother. Yeah, no, it's It's literally something I think about all the time and I can't stop. And they have, I'm sure, just been fine the last couple of years, just going to sleep, not thinking about it, thinking it's okay, daughter's going to take care of it. But, and
That's truly a golden nugget, Jolene, because I think a lot of people out there, you know, shall we say, trying to, beat the system or cheat the system.
yeah.
They think, well, I'll just be clever and I'll just add, my kid to my bank account and put them on the house and do this. And what they don't realize is they're literally lighting a fuse on future problems.
Oh, yeah, there's all kinds of tax consequences as well. Now, in this case, because she was added to the deed at the time he bought the house, they personally will not have the tax consequences that other people would have, but they do. They add their kid or their grandkid later so that it'll go straight to them. And what they don't realize is there are consequences to that. The government's aware of this little backdoor deal. It's not a secret. They know how to get their money. They'll get it one way or another. But that's why they create these estate planning documents so that this is the upfront. We're being honest and truthful here. We paid a little bit and now we can save on some of those taxes. We can save on some of that inheritance. You got to do it the right way. And again, I understand if people are like, I'm not going to plow into a room of people. I'm not going to marry a psychopath. Fine, cool. But do you know whether or not you're going to die suddenly without an opportunity to fix the mess?
Absolutely. I mean, we talk about it so often, as you know, I speak with a lot of estate planning attorneys, and you know, and we talked about it with the DIY thing, because a lot of those go south really
Yeah.
fast. But people just, I don't want to spend the money. I don't want to spend 3 grand or whatever it would be to put the documents in place. And even if it's not, a special needs child or something else, and it's just a normal family out there, what people don't realize is the estate's going to have to be probated, and whatever assets are there are going to be tied up for a year, maybe two, and it's going to cost the family far more than the $3,000 in fees and attorney fees and going through the probate process. Then just spend the 3,000 now. You have it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right now the average $500,000 estate in California is costing about 26 grand in probate fees. So you calculate that year, and that's kind of if you're lucky, that it honestly is if you're lucky. The shortest I've ever heard is 9 months. So it's going to be longer usually. But there's no trust that's going to cost you $26,000. If even if you're paying $10,000, you're still saving a lot of money and you're saving a lot of headache, a lot of time. And I've seen so many people going through probate, and it's just so gut-wrenching, right? Because they just want to get their things. They need their things, and they can't get access to them, and they can't move on.
Right. And let me just amplify something. So you're in California.
Mhm.
A $500,000 estate is going to take, call it a year, and it's going to cost 27,000, kind of at a minimum, right? $500,000 estate is not large when you come to California. I mean, I know what homes cost out there. So
Yes.
if you own a home, for crying out loud, what you might have bought for $400,000 a long time ago is probably worth 2 million right
I was going to say, in my neighborhood, a lot of people still don't consider themselves very wealthy, but they bought their homes for, maybe $200,000 and now they're worth like 1.5. And they're tiny homes in, on small lots, but it's just the neighborhood, it's the school district, it's the safety, it's all that stuff. And so what they don't realize is one, you are now a millionaire. Two, if you were to go through probate, you're definitely beyond that $500,000. I mean, your equity is way past that, even if you don't have a dime in the bank. So you really need to be very careful and make the plan, pay the fee to get it done and get it done right. Because if you don't get it, if you need it, it's too late to get it. So get it while you can. And yes, a lot of people are like, tomorrow. No, because we don't know what tomorrow holds. We don't know what accident we're going to be in. We just don't know. So just go get it, please. That's my message today. Go get it, please. I'll sleep better tonight.
Exactly. And it's as I tell people, like, yeah, no, I should do it. Why should I do it? Those kind of things. The simple answer is, I mean, you're not doing it for you because you're going to be dead. You're not even going to witness the mess that
Yeah.
families going to have to deal with, right?
Mhm.
Um, but everyone listening, if you haven't done planning, you're thinking about it, you're kind of on the fence. Should I? Shouldn't I? Ask yourself this question: what do I want the experience to be like for my family
Yeah.
after I'm gone? Personally, I want my family to be able to be sad and grieve and not worry about the added stress, anxiety, frustration, confusion, legal matters, not to mention the time involved and the expense. So what do you want the experience to be like for your family? If you don't care, that's on you. If you do care, do some plan.
Do something about it. Yeah. Even if you make all the plans, all the things, it's still going to be overwhelming and confusing for the family. So, I mean, do you really want to add to that? I mean, just let's do it right. Get the estate plan, get the My Lives and Wishes, right? Get it all done so everything's clean and organized and together. And then let the family just, okay, wait, where was that email? Where were those documents? Just that's all you want them to have to think about. Just minimal. Not this, did they have an estate plan? Let's dig through every cabinet. Let's hope and pray they have something. You don't want to be that person. And you definitely don't want to be a GoFundMe either. Get it all done now. So that, yeah, because that's the last thing you want is your memory to be this picture on a GoFundMe. And I see that so often, and it's sad. It's a horrible way to be remembered.
And I love how you always approach all these cases with just compassion and empathy. I mean, I personally know you. I mean, you don't judge families. You're just trying to protect them from themselves, right?
Yeah.
You
I
know,
just want to give them what I would want for myself, for my kids, for my family. And so when I see things out there, I use those as tools of, I don't like that. Do you like that? You must not like that. Come on, let's not do that. And lead by example, right? I try to make sure everything's in order. And, I took my first big trip since my kids were little, since they were born, out of the country this year, and just trying to organize everything so that everything could be found. Now, my estate plan was easy. My kids know what that binder looks like. They know where it is. That was not the problem. It was just making sure, because my kids are special needs, all the providers, if something were to happen, that my parents could help my kids contact the providers, all that kind of stuff, that kind of background. And then also, I'm a little bit worse with my business. I do have a system, but it's not as good as my personal system. So I had to really clean up my business system. Who's going to help if I, die on the airplane or whatever the thing is? Who's going to make sure they have access to my computer and to my accounts so they can send out a mass email or whatever? And there's so much to do, even when you think you're organized, even when you do what I do. So really organize your life as best as you can. Contact people like myself and Jon that can actually help you get at least some portion of it done. Just make it easier for your family.
absolutely. And when you get that planning done, I mean, it takes a little while, but you get it done. Then all you have to do is periodically update it. But the worst thing is if you don't have a plan, nothing's organized. Now you day before you leave and you're sitting at the kitchen table writing what I call the vacation will, just in case I don't make it home and provide instructions. I mean, spend that time and go buy a new bathing suit or something for your trip, right?
Yes, it's
Um,
definitely, it's not fun. And it's just like anything else. When you rush it, you're going to mess it up, right? So you're going to miss something. So again, earlier is better because you always have more time to come back and fix things.
Absolutely. So let's get back to our 93-year-old dad and his situation. So I think you had told me, you gave them all the advice, told them what they should do. They opted, not to spend a little bit of money now to protect things. So do you know whatever happened? Because I know you said it keeps you up at night still.
Yes, I never heard back from them. I followed up several times. Never heard back. Not interested. I don't know. You never know. At the most, maybe they went and did a DIY. I don't know. Good luck to them. Yeah, they never contacted me again, never got back to me. And so, yeah, so they are part of my nightmares now.
Yeah, and anyone listening, if you're thinking, okay, well, maybe I'll do a DIY, um, go into my podcast, Estate Planning Nightmares, How to Avoid Them. Go back to May 3rd of 2023. You can't watch us, but you can listen to us and check it out because Jolene sheds a lot of really important insights there. And regarding this situation we're talking about today, I know that you being a parent, with neurodiverse kids yourself, it hits close to home, right?
Yeah,
And I know that your own life, your personal experiences, truly shape the way you talk to families about planning.
absolutely. It's so important to meet people where they're at, to talk their language. And I mean, that's my world. My kids, between the two of them, have about 10 different diagnoses. Um, and one of them identifies as part of the LGBTQIA community. So, yeah, everything I do is very informed, very aware. My favorite part of my forms, my intake forms, is I always ask everybody their pronouns. Now, for my older generation, they don't know what pronouns are. So, I get a lot of really fun responses like, "What's a pronoun?" or "Mr." Okay, that's not a pronoun, but thank you. So,
Exactly.
favorite part of my form.
That's beautiful. Um, yeah, um, the whole thing about planning is, there's a huge difference between hoping it all works out and actually making sure it does. So, which is why I think the work that you and other estate planning attorneys do is just so amazing. Unlike a lot of practice areas in law that are reactive, this is proactive. This
Yeah,
is solving a future problem that really needs to be solved.
yeah, it truly is. So please, if anyone has questions, I'm always open. You don't have to be in California. I can't necessarily fully answer it if you're not in California, but I'm always happy because I want to help people just get going. I know you two are the same, Jon, because it's just, we just want to help people get to where they need to go and to get these things done. It's so important.
Absolutely. Every time we talk, and as I walk away from this show here today, I mean, I just wish every family in America could hear it. So for anybody that's like listening right now or watching us, and you're thinking, oh, that kind of sounds like my situation. Um, what's the first step they should take in creating their own plan or review it or get it corrected? What are your thoughts
Yeah.
on that?
Yeah. First of all, if it's been a while, if you already have some forms, send it into a local attorney, contact them, see what they charge to review the trust, what your options are to get it updated if needed. Some attorneys, they will insist you start from scratch. I always like to work with what you've got. Um, I try to not recharge if you've already paid for a proper estate plan. Now, if it's again a DIY, we're probably starting over. I don't know that I've ever seen a proper DIY one. Just put it that way. So, um, but yeah, it's always good to just have it double checked because a lot of times people forget what they put in there. And maybe when their kids were little, they put that they want their cousin to be the, successor trustee after them. And they're like, wait, I don't even talk to that cousin anymore. I forgot I put her in there. So it is good. And then if you don't have documents, the people who need documents are, first of all, if you have minor children, there are documents that specifically apply to minor children, not just for when you die, but if you're incapacitated. So if you get in a car accident and you're, traumatic brain injury, but hey, you'll recover, but it's going to take months, years, whatever. You need a temporary guardian and you need to appoint them now before you're in that accident. So if you have minor children, it's super important, not just for death, but for incapacity. If you have any age children, it's important for distributing on a slower scale. And then, of course, the special needs community, definitely, please, please, please. Super duper important. Um, And just anybody who has a body needs powers of attorney. You may not need a will or trust. You may not have any assets yet, but a power of attorney will make sure if you're in an accident that you are protected. So everyone should talk to a local estate planning attorney. Check out their Google reviews. There's ways that you can get a good referral. If you have an attorney friend of any sort, most attorneys know other attorneys. Just ask around. Don't just go anywhere because there is different quality. And please don't go to someone who doesn't do estate planning. Actually, since we talked the other day, Jon, I have a new client that just had an entertainment attorney create a special needs trust for him. And the trust has so many, it breaks all the rules that you're supposed to follow for special needs trust. And it says it about 10 different times. And Social Security came knocking on this guy's door. And I said, yeah, I can tell you why in 2 seconds here. This trust is a mess and we need to dissolve it now, get rid, just start over. So it looks beautiful. It's 21 pages. It quotes the probate code, so it looks really pretty. No, it's bad. Don't please go to an estate planning attorney, guys.
Mean, I don't want my oral surgeon, who is an MD, performing, heart surgery on
No.
me, right? Even though he's got the MD, right? So it's not hard for people to find a good estate planning attorney. You want to find a boutique practice that does that. If you're out in the California area, you can certainly reach out to Jolene. If you're somewhere else and you just don't know where to start, reach out to me because I work with and know estate planning attorneys across the entire United States. And I'll give you more than one name so you can do your own due diligence, right? But if someone wants to reach out to you, Jillian, how best for them to do that?
So one very, let's say, pressureless way is my Instagram. So it's Jolene Estates, so Jolene, and then Estates, Estates. And then my website is joleneblackbourn.com. So JoleneBlackbourn. And that'll have my calendar, anything you want, my phone number, my email, whatever you'd like.
Awesome. Awesome. And I'll include that in the show notes below for people so they can find that.
Awesome.
This has been great. But before we go, um, you're still the only attorney that I know who manages to mix estate planning, special needs trusts with Halloween enthusiasm. Are you still celebrating Halloween 12 months a year?
I am. So yes, I've got all my clients get orange binders. So one, I find that they don't lose them anymore. They used to lose them in the black and brown, but the orange they can find from across the room. So I incorporate my Halloween a little bit that way. I actually am in the process right now. I don't send out Christmas cards or end of the year cards or whatever. Um, I send out Halloween cards. So I'm actually in the process right now. I was just doing some today. Um, and yeah, and then I incorporated funeral planning into my estate planning. So that just extends a little bit of it's more the death side, but I try to encourage people to be creative with their funerals and make it unique to them. So that kind of is that spooky little bit of vibe there.
I love that, and you know, anyone else listening, if you have a business or something like that, um, you know, Jolene just dropped a great bomb here, right? Marketing. She's a marketing genius, right? Because I don't know how many Christmas cards I get, and they all go in the basket, right? Let
Mhm.
me ask you all this: how many have you gotten a Halloween card from somebody? That makes you memorable. That differentiates you.
For sure. I figure I'm not one of the crowd when I'm a couple months ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love it. You make law fun, which is
Thank you.
no small feat. So,
Nice.
Jolene, thanks again for coming back. It's been a delight having you on here today. Um, for those listening, remember, estate planning isn't just about documents; it's about protecting people, those that you love. Um, if you want to avoid your own estate planning nightmare, make sure your plan doesn't just exist. Make sure that it works, as we've talked about. Again, feel free to contact Jolene. I've included all her information below in the show notes. If you've gotten value from this, give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and share it with someone that needs to hear it. But don't wait until it's too late. Until next time, this is Jon Braddock reminding you some secrets shouldn't be taken to the grave.